this particular person was like very bipolar, which is what I've been told, but I'd never really experienced that, right? And he was like, look, I want to take you guys over to Dubai. Like, we'll get this like hectic like apartment or whatever, and we'll just like shoot content of me. Because like he was like an entrepreneur kind of download my ebook, like look at me with my Lambo. And he's like, I was going to rent a G-Wagon and like sit on top of it and stand it and drive around Dubai. And we like, you know, it's like the place you go to Dubai to flex or whatever. Like a drink's like $60 there and stuff. Like unless you got money, don't go to Dubai. You know, it's like a playground for rich people basically. That's what the whole place is. Like the city's built because of oil.
Yeah, legit. You know what I mean? And then next minute there's like kind of like the slums just right next to these fucking grand hotels.
Yeah, it's fucked. Like it's so like it's insane. So when we went there, basically we picked up like this G-Wagon and stuff, and we're driving around the desert and like getting all these cool shots and stuff like that. And we had our other friend there, Hayden or whatever, and at the time the G-Wagon was like his dream car or whatever, but he didn't know that we were like picking it up or anything like that. So we like blindfolded him and took him downstairs, and we were like, oh, we're gonna like surprise him, we're filming him and everything, we're gonna show him the G-Wagon. And we get downstairs and like
Good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're listening to this. Welcome back to another episode of Before the Money. We are here with two creative legends. We are
Thanks, brother.
Liam, aka Seventh Era.
Yeah.
We've got Mike, aka North Borders, content creators, entrepreneurs, comedians,
Comedians.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you're going to find that out in a minute. This is going to be This is going to be something you're going to learn a lot. You know, I can feel it already. We've been speaking to you guys for what, half an hour?
Yeah.
We only met you half an hour ago, and I'm already fucking seeing the knowledge drip off you. So this is going to be lots of fun, man.
Same with you guys. I was like, oh yeah, do a freestyle as a joke, and then you just drop some hectic shit.
The whole song.
Yeah. I was sitting there like,
it's how we do.
Fucking joke. When I saw it, to the smoke, see the future in every talk.
Hey.
Fucking blood abomination, nigga. That's manipulation, nigga. That's manipulation.
Hey.
I had the voice. I just made a fucking choice. I'ma throw my vivid noise. Headphones on and I'll destroy your eardrum. Who need them? Got questions, bitch, I'll clear them. As long as it's and fly, you need a set of wings to hear them. Told that I'm a prophet. Told that I should write more. Unfortunate for you, the one that's telling me she your bro. Love my shit, she listen, dog. I think I'll be impressive. Follow me around, hoping that I'm gonna give her children.
Yo.
That was fucking sick. Yeah, well, I was not expecting that.
Man, that's what we do, baby. Thanks for coming on, guys. It's cool to have you guys here.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you guys as well. And
Likewise.
like Jack's saying, I feel like I'm learning already. So let's keep fucking going.
All right, let's go classes in session then.
I suppose it is. Let's get rolling. So we want to kick it off with a simple game of overrated, underrated. Now, are you familiar with how this game works?
No.
So basically, we're going to come to you with a topic. You're going to say whether it's overrated, underrated, could be properly rated. And then, feel free to, expand on that, give your reasoning, and we'll jump from a discussion from there.
Right, sweet.
Number one, overrated, underrated, Porsche.
Porsche.
Yeah.
Oh, I would say underrated because
my man.
When I always see them and I always see like just people driving them like, oh cool, like that's that car, whatever. But then Mike and I did a photo shoot with one of them, and then I got to drive it for a little bit, and we were on the freeway, and we had to exit, and I was like, you know what? I just want to, see if I can downshift this car, see what it's got. There was like 8 cars in front of me, and the exit was like just past them. Downshift, like go in the right lane, and I just chopped them like in like 1 second. It was the most insane experience. From like what was it? A 992?
992 Carrera S. 4S, sorry. So all-wheel drive one.
So yeah, underrated.
Are they naturally aspirated?
Yeah, well, I think all the new ones now have like little turbos in them for emissions.
Yeah,
but they still keep the name. Like the Taycan's got the turbo badge or whatever to show that like that's the hierarchy or whatever. So I think like that's like a naming hierarchy or like a pyramid or whatever they have now.
Yeah,
but I think but like obviously they used to be naturally aspirated, the Carrera ones. But I actually hated Porsches when I was a kid. So I would say they're also underrated because the way that I would look at them when I was a kid, I grew up with the 996 era, which I think the 7th era. No, I think we all grew up with that. I think we're all roughly sort of the same age. And so we grew up with like the first Boxsters, the first Cayenne. and the 911s of the
It's
time.
that
where they had
iconic shape, man. That
Yeah.
fucking booty is. Oh,
all the back ends were great, but
Yeah.
that like egg, I think they called it the egg eye or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like the ugly duckling.
Yeah.
Of like the 996 series was like the ugly duckling,
Mhm.
and I definitely agreed with that. But now they're becoming retro.
Mhm.
But at the time, I was like, why would anyone buy that car? Because they're also still incredibly expensive
Oh,
when they
bro.
came out, right?
They still are, man.
They still are.
Yeah.
Exactly. But the 996s, they went down heaps in value because they didn't make as many of
Yeah.
them. But now to get your hands on a 996 GT3 RS, because they didn't make any of them because like no one was buying them.
Mhm.
Now they're like through the roof money. But that's
Yeah.
when I was growing up. I was like, they're a girl's car. Why would you buy that? They look funny. They sound funny. They like, you know, like, they don't have the Batmobile look for that price that you get with like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or
Yeah.
something. Until I started working at a car dealership, and they sort of sold all those kind of cars. And this was like, I just turned 18 and just learned how to drive manual. I was on like red P plates, like
Shit.
had just got my license, and working at this like high end dealership. We were doing like a drive day to take some photos of the cars or whatever. And I got thrown the keys to an old Porsche at the time, which I didn't know what it was, but it was a 993 Turbo, which is
What color was it?
It's dark green, British
Oh.
racing green interior. Like,
Fuck.
but like when I jumped in, I was like, oh, you know, Porsche, I don't really like these, but I'll give it a go, whatever.
Yeah.
And my boss gave me a fuel card to go put some fuel in it, and I was with my mate. Like, it didn't have any rego on it as well, so we got trade plate through the window and red P plates on it. His car's worth almost $400,000.
Sus as fuck.
Legit driving it to the fuel station, and my mate's like, come on, give it some. I'm like, couldn't imagine this thing would be very fast.
Yeah.
So I put it into second, and I put my foot down, and we hear these two turbos spool up behind us. And I'm like, what the fuck? And we get kicked back. It's like, I think I looked up the stats after, like, for a 1996 car, 0 to 100 was still like 3.6 seconds or something like that. Because all-wheel drive, bi-turbo, flat-six engine, fucking insane power. And that's why I was like, I love this car.
Cheeks
I
would have
need
been
this car.
flapping.
Yeah. And then, literally straight after that, I was like, I need to, like, Porsche needs to be a part of my life now. So then I went out, tried to work with them, ended up getting some jobs with them, and been working with them, and been a like huge fan of their cars ever since.
Yeah.
So underrated for the fact that you need to drive one and experience
100%.
one to understand
Yeah.
like the car.
The pinnacle of driving experience, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%
As
agree.
opposed to like a Lambo where everyone sees a Lambo, they're like, oh my God, it's amazing. You know what I
They
mean?
see the Instagram like value of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a flex.
Yeah.
that you get it for, which I totally understand. Because
Oh,
it is a
it
flex.
has its place, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure, definitely.
Yeah. No.
You get to drive some bonkers cars when you work at a dealership. Hey, I used to work at BMW, and just even the one like even we'd get like customers trade-ins and stuff to play around with sometimes. But just like all the M line and stuff, like the bigger ones, that's what fucking blew my mind. Like the X6Ms and shit.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
car is unnatural how quick that thing is for how
They're
big
heavy
that
as
fucking
fuck,
thing
man.
is.
Yeah,
It's just like
legit.
I'm gonna fucking kill multiple people if I fuck up.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
your
good
experience
one.
with like
Yeah.
understanding AMGs and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't. So I used to work at a car dealership as well, the same one as Mike. And when I first started working there, I didn't know the difference between a C200 and a C63. Like, genuinely thought they were the same car. Like, one day I asked my boss, I was like, oh, do you reckon I could take out that car to lunch? And he like looked at me and laughed. And it was a C180, just like the most
Peasant model.
baseline, probably like, what, 10 grand car?
Yeah.
Not even. I thought it was the same as a C63.
Shit.
And then,
So you thought you were high rolling?
yeah, I thought I was pulling up in a Mercedes. I was like,
Yeah,
"Fuck
it's a Merc, baby. Look at the
Yeah.
badge.
So like, it just goes to show. But like, one day he's like, move this car over there, and I go get the keys and I put it in the ignition. I turn it on, and it just roars, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then he told me to go put fuel in it, and I like plant my foot in this thing. Turns out it was like a C63, like
Shit.
V8 bi-turbo, just like pushes me back into the seat. And I was 18 at the time as well. Just got my like P plate.
I'm gonna kill myself.
The C63s are such sleepers too, in my
Yeah.
opinion, because they look like mum cars from the outside,
Yeah,
and then they're just fucking raw when you like open them up.
yeah,
Legit.
yeah. They don't look like anything like that hectic
Yeah.
until you're inside of it.
The next one that we were gonna ask you is overrated, underrated screen time tracking.
Screen time. Oh, on your phone.
Yeah, so like the
Oh,
ability
right.
to go into your phone or laptop and see how you're using your
Yeah.
devices.
Well, let's see. Like, because when I look at it, sometimes it'll pop up like weekly, like your screen time's up 22%, but I'll be like, and then I'll sort of look at it and see like what I've used for entertainment and
Mhm.
productivity. And I think it's a little bit different for us as well, because like it would consider Instagram and stuff as entertainment, whether it's that we could be posting or replying to comments or talking to people or whatever. So
It's your business.
yeah, it's sort of our job,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean that I don't get distracted and
Yeah.
sit there for ages mindlessly looking at content until I realize like, what am I actually doing?
Where's the last 3 hours gone?
Yeah.
Yeah, legit. That's why I deleted TikTok, bro. Like
Yeah.
I had TikTok and I found that I was on it because I was so addicted. I'd like sit in bed in one position and like 2 hours would go past, I'd still be in that position. I'm like, this is fucked. I'm gonna
Yeah.
delete the app.
Yeah.
It's brutal, man.
It's
So-
really bad. I really noticed like I've started trying to make more active TikTok videos, and just I've separated the whole, I don't go on there to scroll anymore, because exactly the same thing. I'd same example of lying in one position, not moving at all, and then looking at the time again, just being like, I can't tell you, I could tell you the last 5 videos I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything else. It's just
Legit.
fucking mindless.
It's just
scrolling.
Yeah, you feel like your brain's gone to mush and you're just like on a drip.
And
but
it's like
just-
anxiety producing almost as well.
Oh, for sure.
You
We
know?
were just talking about that
Yeah,
before, actually.
I was talking about it to Mike today, and I put on my story. I don't know what made me do this today, but I woke up and I'm like, I just don't want to. Like the past 2 days, I was feeling like really demotivated, and I was thinking in bed this morning, I'm like, why has that been? And I realized that I was like the past 2 days, I was on my phone like a lot, just like scrolling. So today I like made the conscious effort. Like I haven't gone on my phone I probably went on for 10 minutes the whole day. And I put on my story, I said, like 2 stories. One was, are you addicted to your phone? Yes or no? And the second one was, if so, are you doing anything about it? And the results were, after like an hour, it was like 80% of people said they were addicted, and then 70% said they weren't doing anything about it, which I found really interesting. Like a lot of us are all addicted to our phones, but we don't necessarily know what to do about it, which I think that screen time's really important.
Yeah.
Like that app's awesome because you can check like all your screen time and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Makes
set
it
limits and
real.
stuff. Yeah.
But you can check it, but then it's like, what now? Like, how do I, stop
true.
this addiction? Sort
It's
of
so
thing.
integrated into life now. It's like a extension of your brain, essentially.
Yeah, I can't actually imagine like how my dad used to hang out with his mates and stuff. Like, they used to be like, we're going to meet up at the milk bar. And
Yeah.
if you're not there, you're a fucking dog. Like, imagine just flaking on all your mates or whatever. Like, or if
Legit.
it's just 2 people meeting up and someone just doesn't rock up. Like, you are a dog forever.
Or you just ride your bikes through the neighborhood, like
Yeah.
it's more so local community. That was like your social circles in a lot of sense.
We used
You
to
know?
go pick each other up. Like you ride down to the first mate's house, grab him, and then the both of you'd ride to the next one, next one.
Like, I wish I had that, bro. Like, no one does.
Really?
No one rides their bike
No,
down to
not
my house and
anymore.
gets me.
Fuck
Nah, I ride my scooter over. That's about it. My electric
Razor
scooter.
boy.
Yeah, no, I got the electric one. The big boys now. Yeah.
Shit,
Yeah,
he's
we got-
upgraded.
We got some proper ones. I'm a big boy now.
Look at me
Still a
now,
virgin.
mom.
Yeah.
Hey, your time will come, buddy.
Yeah. That's what I keep telling myself.
No. So overrated, underrated, manifestation.
As in law of attraction?
Yeah.
Or, well, I feel like, okay, I think you got to use some common sense with it as
Yeah,
well.
this one's pretty funny. Like, all the people who say like, I manifested this, or
It's
like,
like-
I'm gonna manifest this, and they just sit there and like manifest.
Um,
I'm gonna
Yeah.
manifest wealth.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, you can't fucking sit there with your dick in your hand
No.
and just go like, oh, I'm going to get all this stuff but not do anything about it. And then you also can't sit there and complain that other people got lucky or whatever, because I think we cop a bit of shit like that from other people would easily see like our lifestyles, because what we've done over the past years to get ourselves into a position now to be able to quit our jobs and do YouTube full time and do what we want to do. It's very easy for someone to see all that, compare their life to our life and be like, I don't have any of that shit.
Yeah.
Like, you just got lucky or whatever, but there's actually years of like blood, sweat and tears that have gone like into what we've done. And like, it's not like we've manifested that, but it's like we have done a whole bunch of things and gone with the flow, and opportunities have opened up, and then we've just acted on that without realizing, and that's what like has created a certain other opportunity that has led us down a certain path.
You have to put yourself in the position for luck to find you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly right.
I also guess it depends on what you define as like manifesting something.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that means like you have this general goal of like where you want to be in life, and you just sort of chip away at that every day. Like to me, that's like manifesting something, because like you know, it's just like knowing that you'll get there, but you just chip away at it every day. Like you have to be actively doing it. You can't just like I don't know, just live a really chilled, laid back lifestyle and like not do much work and just go, I'm going to manifest this thing to happen, you know?
Exactly. Because manifesting kind of comes in, like a lot of people think of it as just like the thoughts, you know, as in like in The Secret. That's basically the way that they've described it, the famous book, The Secret. You know, you just got to think about it, you know, put energy towards it and it will come to you. Yes, that is probably 20% of manifestation. But the real value of manifestation is getting clear on what you want to achieve so that you're clear on how to spend your day.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that, for sure.
It's a good way of putting it, for sure.
Words out of my mouth.
You're doing that a lot recently, bro.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, like, you know, when I was younger, was buying more into the manifest. And then I realized, like, when I was understanding what it was going to take to get me to where I wanted to be, that manifesting, I would still call it manifesting, but it would be sitting there thinking about how I was going to get to where I wanted to be. So instead of it being like, I want to bring this to me, I'd be getting clear on what I wanted and then figuring out the next step of how to get closer to it.
Yeah.
Still called it manifesting, but you said, it's how you define it for sure.
Yeah. You just like slowly chip away at it every day, but like, you sort of know where you want to be and what you want to sort of like what the end result is, and then you just like slowly chip away at that every day.
Yeah. So I guess like in terms of where it's rated, I think it's pretty well rated where it is. I think it actually just comes down to the human. And how much effort they want to put in. And if they're going to sit there and, you know, manifest all this shit and nothing happens from it and then complain about it, that's like
then it's overrated.
Yeah, that's overrated. And
I would say majority, the way a lot of people I've sort of spoken to about it, or like not spoken to about it, a lot of the people that I see online speaking about it, I think that's overrated. But what we just sort of said is like rated.
Fairly rated.
Fairly rated.
Because like I hate it when someone says to me like, oh Mike, like I'm going to start a YouTube channel or whatever. Like, I like what you do and I want to start it. Like, I should do that. Like, I'm going to do it. And then they just don't do it. And it's like, and like, you know, then they look at me and like, oh, that's really cool, man. Like, I said, like, I should be doing that and I'm going to do it. And it's like, dude, I don't fucking give a shit. Like, you either do it or you don't. Like, don't come and complain to me about it. But like, we have mates that have said they want to do it and then have done it and now are doing it.
That's
like,
awesome.
It's like one day or day one kind of shit.
Yeah.
I love that saying.
I really like that, bro.
Yeah. One day or day one.
Because I feel like the hurdle that most people come up against, they look to people like you and say, wow, this content's amazing. And they try and start there.
Yeah.
No,
you know?
Not possible.
But your first work as creatives, we all know, our first work is embarrassing based on our own knowledge now.
It's going to be shit.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, of course. And that's just the way life is, man. Like, you're always learning. Even my dad's 60-something now. He's still always learning. You can never know enough. And it's like always good to put yourself in the position of the student and never be on the other side where you think you're too good and got this ego about you or whatever, because then you're just going to end up being, you know, a shitty person with a lot of knowledge.
Like David Bowie, for instance, an absolute icon, man, like one of music's most inspirational figures, and yet he used to go to music colleges and sit in on classes to get to learn from the students.
Amazing.
Like, what kind of like humble person at his level will do something like that? Only the greatest.
Because that's the passion, man. That's where the passion comes from, you know. It's like, it's not about getting to anywhere or getting to some certain level of success. Like, obviously David Bowie was very well known for his music, but it doesn't mean he's at any top or has gotten to any destination. Like, he's just become very well known, but he just still loves doing or loved, you know, rest in peace. Love.
He's I'm sure he's doing it up there.
For sure, man.
He's going fucking
away.
hard.
Going way harder. I don't have bones anymore, bro.
I can play all fucking day. No sleep, baby.
7 guitars at once.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, though. Like, there never needs to be a place to go. Like, I sort of love, I do the same with photography. Like, there's always infinite types of things to learn about with photography. There's a lot of different genres with photography. Like, I would consider myself pretty amateur when it comes to portraits and taking photos of people. I don't really know much about that. Lighting people, product photography. I don't even do that because I'm scared to be shit at it. You know, because I would suck at it. You know, like, obviously I understand the basics of how a camera work and shutter speed and like I'd get a half decent shot, but like to be professional in that industry is completely different to shoot street.
Yeah, to compete at the
photography.
level that you're kind of doing in your other areas,
Yeah.
you know, it takes still, no matter how good you are at the instrument, it's the different kind of medium and a different kind of perspective you need to take. You know, the composition is different. Everything is completely different.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what I used to do actually? Like some of my favorite photographers that I looked up to or whatever. One day I decided just to scroll to the bottom of their feed. Do you remember Asterix on Instagram?
Him and also Ryan Miller.
Ryan Miller, right? These
Yeah.
two like Instagram photographers that we followed. They're like New York or LA photographers or whatever. They had like a few thousand posts and like getting like 10.
That would have taken you forever, bro.
yeah, to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then they're really good. Like they're like the top of their game at that point. Like if you're not following them and you're into photography, you're not into photography. Like you got to be following these guys on Instagram back then, right? And then one day I just decided like this dude had like 4,000 posts or something. Just scroll all the way to the bottom and see where they started. And I'm like, this guy was fucking shit. And you just sort of see like what they started with and how they got to where they're going and like where their style sort of developed, and they found out you slowly like could see what they started like liking to shoot and that kind of stuff. And then
They found their
looking at
style.
that, they found it. Well, like their style sort of found them, because the more that they did that, it would just sort of they're naturally drawn to doing
Whatever that is that they like.
Yeah, exactly, whatever it is. So it's like that all links back to, you know, don't compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 10 or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
you know, you can obviously be inspired, and you should always try and get inspiration and get inspiration from everywhere that you can, and you know, build that into your work. But there's no need to ever compare yourself to anyone, because everyone's life is different. Everyone's always, even if you're twins, like you still got like a different path to live. You know what I mean?
Yeah, legit. Everyone's kind of perspective and everyone's stimulus that they've received from the world is different. Everyone lives a different existence. You know, for me personally, like being in the clothing and fashion space, if I look at my first run in clothing, I was just printing on like basic tees, like the most bland designs, selling them at fucking markets. Like I look back to that now and I'm like, oh fuck, I don't even want to give this shit away.
Yeah, and now you got your bloody Pebble, whatever.
Yeah, no, fucking pommel stone washes and shit. Like, what the fucking language even is that, bro?
Yeah.
You know, so it's a natural progression, and I feel like Reece, it's the same with your kind of music, man.
Yeah,
you know?
well, I was gonna say like last night, right? We did an amazing gig in an amazing venue with amazing bands for amazing people. But that's like 7 years of work right there.
Yeah.
Like someone might see that, and there are people that like follow me that I know that they're sitting there thinking like I could do that. It's just getting up there and saying some shit. I'm like, but I've been grinding at this for a long fucking time to be at this level with these people. So
I fully understand. Like I get that, we get those comments as well. Like I could have made this video better from our like YouTube videos that we make, and it's like, dude, be my guest. Like,
Where's your vlog? Like, where's your video? Where's your YouTube channel?
We have this joke at the moment where it's like, you put however many hours into a video. Like, you spend 10 hours like going out shooting it. Like, you might go out a second night to get certain B-roll or whatever of the city or a certain car or whatever to put that in the vlog. You spend days editing it. You get the thumbnail. You think of the title. You sit down. How you going to do it? You finally edit it. You upload it for someone to comment, meh. It's like,
what motivates people to do that though? What motivates someone to like leave a comment like that
it's them like knowing that they couldn't. Essentially, it's just
dude, every hater is a confused fan.
Yeah.
Have you actually tried to talk to one?
Yeah, bro. Honestly,
you turn them around most
straight
of the time.
away. Yeah, most of the time they just want the attention from you.
Yeah. If you just go like, instead of backfiring, because like, dude, in human nature, it's so easy. Like, if you're on the road with someone, and I know Bailey, I was just talking to him about it before. He loves a bit of road rage, but like on the road, if like we've got a funny story as well. Like when we were
love my road rage boys.
Tuning in from the studio.
Electric sugar, baby.
Yeah. Fuck, lost my train of thought. Fuck you, Bailey.
Road rage. Road rage.
That's right, yeah. So, like, it's really easy, like, if someone cuts you off or whatever, to get upset at that. But if you just accept it for what it is or whatever, you'll sort of just, like, I don't know. Actually, that's a bad example. I'll just skip to the actual story of it, whatever. When we were in Sydney, we drove up to go pick up my project car or whatever. But where we were staying only had one allocation for a parking space, right? And obviously at the time I didn't know about like visitor parking and how the sort of building works as an apartment block. And so we, obtained my my car or whatever and driven it down to the car park or whatever and parked it in just a random bay because when we got there, we took a photo of like all the bays there and stuff because like barely any of them was being used, right? Yeah. And so we're like, come back the next morning, check the photo and all the bays are still cleared or whatever. So I'm like, okay, obviously no one's using any of these bays or whatever in this apartment. So we'll just get the car and park it into someone's, car space here, right? So we do that. And then literally as soon as I get the car, park it there, go upstairs, get my stuff, come back down. Someone's like double parked over me and blocked me into the parking space and left his phone number on my windscreen or whatever. And I'm like, of course, like the only parking
one
space
park you choose.
I've like taken someone's car space, whatever. So I give him a call, and he was like so pissed off over the phone. I'm like, just come downstairs and we'll like sort it out or whatever. And it could have been easy for me to like get upset back at him and like pretend I wasn't that much in the wrong or whatever. And he came downstairs and he's like ready to go. He's ready to argue with me or whatever. And he's like, why are you parking there? And I just immediately like apologize and just say like
before he came down, we had a conversation. We were like, all right, how about for this time, we will just try and diffuse the situation and just see what happens. Like
that's the real position of power.
Dude, legit. This is the funniest shit though, right? So he comes downstairs, he's upset, he's ready to argue, whatever, gets his shit out, like starts yelling at me, and I'm like, dude, you're absolutely right. Like, I should not have done that. He's like, yeah, that's right. You should have done that. He's like, well, I've got no more fuel now. Like, what am I can't keep yelling at this guy. Like, I'm going to look like a really big dick if I keep yelling at him. And I'm like, you know what, man? Like, I'm so sorry. Explain my situation. We're from Melbourne. We picked up this car, whatever. Took a photo, like, what I just basically said. And he goes, oh, like, yeah, no, that's all right, man. Like, I actually like this car. I sort of wanted one when I was younger.
Next to your best buds.
Dude, we turned him into a subscriber. Told him what we did for a living. He's like, dude, that's fucking awesome. His girlfriend was there with him. Like, he's like, you wanted to do YouTube, babe, remember? And he goes, kind of like
all of a sudden, he's a fanboy.
He's like, gets my number. He's texting me locations to.
We turned him around like by just going the opposite way and not like reacting, like being proactive about it and like sort of diffusing the situation. You just
turn him into it. And the best part about it, he was like, dude, you know what? You can actually just take that bay next to me. No one lives there. Or you could just park in the visitor parking upstairs. And I'm like, oh, I should have just done that. But so it's like just turning the whole situation around. So just if you just put your ego aside for one fucking second and just try and diffuse the situation, you'll be amazed where life can take you.
Yeah.
It is superpower.
Legitimately. So it's like, dude, when I just see people online, like, I don't know, flexing to the moon and back, it's just like, dude, for what? Like, what are you doing? Like, just enjoy life, man. Like, you only got one life. You never know when you're going to leave. Like, we don't even know what the fuck's going on here. Just, like, enjoy yourself. Don't take it too seriously.
It's way too short as it is. Hey.
Do you guys, do you in the clothing scene experience, like, much hate? Or
not very often, but when it has happened, our audience is taking care of it for me. So I usually send them a personal message saying like, hey mate, like, what's up? And just have like everything you just said, have a conversation with them, meet them at their level. Because at the end of the day, for someone to feel that strongly to go and leave a hateful comment, something's going terribly wrong within them.
They're in a bad spot for sure.
Yeah, so you just put your ego aside and, you address them like a human being, and everything you just said is spot on the money, Most of the time, they end up being your most loyal customer or your most loyal fan.
Yeah,
legit.
Because you've taken the time where you could have easily have just gone, no, I am who I am. Who are you to tell me that? Which is like what a lot of people do.
No.
Yeah, legit.
I've been pretty lucky not to experience too much hate in my journey, but the time like you said, your audience. I've had people comment on stuff before, and your audience tears them to shreds. Like, you don't have to do anything. So the audience gets in there. Like, if people do, only happen like a handful of times. People direct messaging me. I just don't give it the time of day. At the end of the day, like as soon as I realize that it's a negative, I'm just like, I don't even need to read that. It's
not worth your energy.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely so I think that's an amazing way for us to segue into our interlude. We're just going to take a quick 5-minute break, and then we'll be back in to introduce our beautiful crowd sitting in the vocal booth. So we'll be back in a minute, guys. Love you.
Awesome.
That'd be a fun game to play. Pointless things.
Murder in the Dark podcast. You're playing Murder in the Dark whilst doing a podcast.
You know what would be fucked? Because when you got the headphones on, you can't really tell where the sound is coming from. It's just like direct injection.
Yeah.
Like... Imagine playing like Murder in the Dark and with headphones on.
Oh no.
And you kind of like got to find each other, but you wouldn't have any kind of bearing.
That would be
It'd be like being in one of those mirror rooms.
Yeah.
True.
That would be scary.
We played Murder in the Dark. Like, we went on like a road trip with all the boys. We played Murder in the Dark in our Airbnb, and we had like some hectic like music going on, like some really scary themed horror music playing. You had to walk around the fucking room completely dark. Like, if you're the person, I don't know, you were standing on the kitchen bench.
Yeah.
And no one found you.
That's fucking smart.
Hide in plain sight, boy.
Exactly.
Mad. So we've just come back from our brief interlude. Thank you guys for waiting, even though in your time it was only like a second.
Thanks for doing nothing.
Yeah. Thanks for continuing to listen. Really appreciate it. So we're going to jump into all the wonderful things that these boys have done over the last couple of years, because like I said in the beginning, they are very, very, very well knowledge. That's not really a good way of saying it. Yeah, who fucking cares? So they are very, very well experienced in the creative space, in the content space, and as you kind of are getting the grips from in the first segment, they do have some kind of influence. So I want to dive into, what the fuck do you guys actually do?
Dude, honestly, most days I wake up and I just don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, even after doing this shit for like the past probably 3 years properly and like making money off it and doing it full time, I don't actually fucking know. I don't know. I do videos about photography. We film them, we edit them, and we post them. Like,
yeah. We feel like we're in a video game. We have this like joke a lot.
Decentraland.
Like, yeah, legit. We have this joke that like, because we do a lot of work with Sigma, right? And when we go there, we feel like it's like a side mission. It's like, go speak to the manager at Sigma or whatever. Yeah. And like when we pass people, like when you walk past people in GTA, you hear like conversations. About
It's like
they're all like NPCs, because I swear like we see people that are like, you're a fucking NPC, I swear. Like, you do this shit every day. You go home and you just deload.
There's just a simulation, man.
You don't go anywhere.
Simulation
theory. So I don't know. With that, like, it just feels like we don't really know what we're doing. We're just sort of like following the campaign. Missions will come up and we'll just do it.
You live for a living.
Yeah, pretty much. Like we can make money off what we do. That's awesome. And we know how to make videos and take photos. We enjoy doing it. And if we can like maintain this, then we're just going to sort of keep guessing our way through it all, you know? Like, I feel like I think that no one really knows what they're doing. Like, I've never met anyone who's like, yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing. Like, I figured
That's
it out.
a dead end, man.
Unless you're an assassin, maybe.
I've got to kill this guy.
Yeah, legit. You got a fucking set mission.
Yeah.
So how do you guys make money then?
There's YouTube AdSense and stuff, but like, you can't live off that unless you got like millions of views, like a lot of views. But we mainly make money through selling Lightroom presets. So digital product.
Yeah.
You know.
So and for anyone, continue. Sorry,
for the just people who wouldn't be as in with the language.
Oh yeah.
The presets and stuff, like what it actually is that you're selling to somebody.
Yeah, so basically like, you know how you jump onto Instagram, right, and you can select a different filter and like it will change your edit or whatever of your photo. We basically know how to make that.
Yeah.
So we'll make like filters and we will sell that we make it in a program called Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom, which a lot of photographers would use, and then we would sell our settings and our filters basically to get a certain look to an image. So it's no different to like jumping on Instagram and finding a filter, but this would more or less work for the type of camera and raw file you're using. So it's a bit more professional in that sense. But to dumb it down,
it's like
basically that's
how to get that like
that look.
You see a photo on Instagram and you're like, how have they gotten that look?
Yeah.
Like we sell that essentially.
We sell the look.
Cool. So I'm curious, how much of like the finished product is related to the initial photo or video capture versus the editing, the post editing?
Oh, I'd say 50%. Like it's 50-50.
50-50.
Wait, sorry, what exactly do you mean?
So how, like, in terms of like to get something of your quality of production, how much of that is reliant on taking an initial great photo versus, you know, like getting the right settings and all that kind of stuff versus the post editing, you know, how does that weigh up? You know?
Yeah, I think because like obviously you can be good at photography and understand all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff, but then to also do editing as well is a whole another ball game.
Yeah.
So you sort of like, as you grow as a photographer, you'd hope that you'd grow as an editor as well,
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
they just go hand in hand. Like to be able to finish off something and to have an amazing final product, you need to be able to edit that to look like that. You know what I mean? Even if it's like capturing something like a beautiful sunset, and for the way that your eye sees it,
Yeah.
you still need to go into editing and bring up shadows or
Yeah.
take down highlights or something to like try and make that photo look like what you experienced it. That's like sometimes the aim. Like when we go out at shoot at nighttime, there's all these different colors and so much shit happening, and it's so vibrant for the eye to see.
Yeah.
You take a picture and it's just like grey
Yeah.
and underexposed.
Especially
Yeah.
And bring it all
every
back.
raw.
Everybody who's like, when there's like a real nice sunset and everybody's like Instagramming it, and you like whenever you take those videos, it just never does it any
No.
close to justice.
And like you might experience this more or less, and maybe even do it. But you know when people go to a music festival and
Yeah.
put it on their story, it's like, dude, I don't fucking care because I can't hear anything. It's just like no one wants to hear that shit. Like it's just not
exactly the
encapsulating the moment at
No.
all.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
that's what we try to do as editors, as when we take our photos, try and bring people back or even put someone in a certain mood for that photo or video.
and it
we're trying
really
to
is
do.
an art form too. Like, got a couple of photographer friends, and they'll show you a picture pre and post, and you're just
Yeah.
like, wow, it
Yeah, it's
just
totally different.
completely makes it like just pop.
Yeah, that's why I'd say it's like 50% because I do like a lot of photographers who do YouTube. Some of them do this video called editing your photos. So I
Yeah.
did one recently, and essentially I edit my like people who follow me send in their photos and I edit them. And some of them are like really like insane photos, but some of them are also just like average photos. But because I know how to edit well, you can turn it into like a real like a banger shot. And
Yeah.
and a guy messaged me whose photo that I edited. He was like, dude, like I didn't know that my photo could look like that. Like he thought that it was like in the photography side of things, where
Yeah.
in actual fact, like a lot of it lies in the edit and like understanding this is what the photo looks like. And I know in my head how I want it to look, and I know how to actually make it look like that. So that's why I'd say probably 50-50.
And
Yeah,
you can
I would
work
agree.
you can work to the initial capture as well. Say for instance you get like a super underexposed, you edit that and you play to that strengths and you make a really nice dark and moody post.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's really interesting. And I'm sure there's a lot of photographers and videographers or even just creatives that are wanting to start capturing more of their life that are going to listen to this and probably haven't put that much time into editing. So would you suggest that that's definitely something that, people need to learn?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I learn in the way that it's fun. So it's like put on like a playlist that you really like to listen to, or a new album or something, or listen to a podcast and just get lost in it. Like that's when I feel like when you're just in the flow and you're just editing and then you just sort of come out of that state and you're like, oh, I just made this, but you don't remember anything. That's like the best kind of editing where it's like flow state.
The flow state.
Some edits that I've done and presets that I've made that I've tried to recreate, or photos that I've tried to re-edit, and I'm like, how the fuck did I do that? Like, I am so shit to think that I can't even do that now. And like 3 years ago, I was like editing like that.
Yeah.
And also another thing that really helps as well is like traveling to new locations and taking in that information when you're there. Like when we could travel a lot more when we were going to Japan and stuff, it was like overstimulating because there was like so much shit going on. You just like click.
Yeah.
You're like rapid fire taking photos. of
Cameras
everything.
overheating.
Yeah, legit. And you're just trying to like shoot everything and edit.
Do you want me to fix your mic up, man?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it's a bit. God damn it, Scott! No.
No, Scotty's on it.
Scotty's coming.
Yeah, podcasting's easy.
So they say.
I could do a podcast. This isn't even that good.
Before the money, baby. Get on that shit.
Before the money.
Awesome.
Still before
Thanks,
the
man.
money, we're all broke as fuck.
Wait,
Yeah.
now I don't have to get scoliosis.
Stay broke. Yeah, legit fucking tech necking.
My experience with editing photos, like you were saying that you get lost in it. Like I don't know about editing photos. I just play around with the sliders and just like watch it change and
That's
just
the best way to do it.
figure out as you go. Like, oh, that doesn't look as good. Or I found, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I found when I'm doing my Instagram photos that sometimes less is more. Like,
Okay, yeah.
just a very subtle change. That you
Sorry, man. I wasn't going to let that one slide. I wasn't going to let it slide. We respect you for that.
Sorry.
No, I know what you mean though. Like some people, there's definitely like over editing, and when you see it, it's like it sort of ruins the photo.
Yeah. I've definitely been there. I've over-edited the fuck out of something. I put like star trails into my.
You get caught up in it, man. You get overexcited.
You post it and you get fucking roasted. Like, oh, you probably shouldn't have done that, but whatever. And that's part of it. That's all part of the learning, I guess. Like if you think it needs that much, then it needs that much. Like editing and doing your art and whatever it is, it's just like your fingerprint, man. Only you can decide. Like it's custom to you, and only you can decide if you like it or not. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So editing is like that's why, like, I don't know. I remember Liam posted like this edit like a while ago. That's where this whole meme started, like too much blue or whatever. Because like one time
on my page it was like it was more so like probably about a year ago. Like I don't know what it was. Like my style had just eventually gotten to the point where like my photos were like fucking blue. like you got the temperature and like dropped it a bit and you're like, oh, it's blue, and then you just keep going.
Just creep it a little bit more.
Like I just loved it, and I still do, but I don't know. I think because I started it, I mentioned it on my story, and then everyone started commenting like too much blue, and all that sort of stuff. But I think it was just, it's subjective. Like at that point of time, like I really love putting a lot of blue in my images.
You were feeling a little bit down, were you?
Yeah. I was feeling blue. So I'm like,
legit. And then it's like, so it's like as you grow as a creative as well, like so does your craft and what you like. Like you're always developing as a human. So obviously if like shit's going to change. But like, I don't know. I feel like Liam and I have always had similar styles, but we'll dip in and out of like different types of edits that we might do. Like sometimes even with like my YouTube videos and stuff, I'll get bored with a type of like structure of video and want to just like take a completely different, you know, just route on how I'm going to go about shooting this video, what kind of like footage the way I'm going to film it, the way I'm going to tell the story, and the way it's going to end. Like, you know, I've tried doing that a bit more with some of my videos.
Do you get like inspiration to the level that you just you'd see someone else's photo and you're like, no, I want to recreate that. Just try and do what they've done.
Yeah, for sure. Like I follow this photographer called Aaron. Is it Brimhall? Yeah.
He shoots a lot of like the desert stuff. Yeah,
that guy. Yeah,
he's a G.
He is fucking amazing at photography, and I always bring him up for inspiration because I love his stuff, and I would love to know who he gets inspired by to go out and shoot that sort of stuff, like Mad Max vibes, just awesome, like desert, like dusk.
The vehicles that he shoots as well, man,
and the
fucking
cars
wild,
bro. Like, what the fuck? And I'm just like looking at that stuff. I'm like, I just want to try and like shoot, like recreate this photo, and like. I don't know, some artists like that. I'm not gonna name drop anyone, but like I've seen artists like see people try to copy their work and get upset at people for doing so. But I would encourage it. Like if you like what Liam's done or I've done or whatever, and you like want to try that, like go for it. Because if you copy someone, even if you're just trying to learn about it or whatever, or if you like it, you're gonna learn something anyway in that process of completely directly trying to copy someone. You're gonna learn about maybe your camera or the way you're trying to edit something, or you might even bump into someone on that photo shoot, and that could take you off in a different direction. Like
Picasso was a professional copier before he started. You know, he's making his own paintings. He used to make copies. Like that's how so many of the influential artists were. They used to copy influential artists from the era before them, just so that's how they learnt the craft. You know, that's how they learnt the stroke patterns, and then from that base foundation, they then developed their own.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
It happens in music a lot as well. So like personal experience, I take a lot of inspiration from J. Cole, right?
Yeah.
And I'll hear a lyric of his that might inspire a verse for me. And then I go and listen to the people that he's inspired by. So like, Nas's and stuff like that. And I realized that my inspiration was his inspiration from the original guy. And you can see where it's carried. I thought that I was like repurposing Cole's words, but I was actually repurposing Nas's because that was the influence there.
Dude,
so like trickles down.
Reappropriation. It's like one of the most important things with content creation, because at the end of the day, everything's been fucking done, but there's always a new way to look at something, you know, and reappropriating something is like the way that you do your craft. I take a lot of video ideas and the way they do their thumbnails and titles from a YouTube channel called Donut Media. Yeah. And they'll do like, I actually got the idea to do amateur photographer versus pro photographer, because they did this thing professional race car driver versus amateur, but the amateur got to drive a 911 Porsche, and the pro driver got to drive had to drive a Passat around the track and
He
see how
got
far.
to drive it.
He got, oh my god, I get to drive a Passat.
like,
yeah. Yes, my dream car. No, yeah, and they had to like battle it out and see what kind of lap time they would get, and it was like even. And just because of the way that he would take his lines and understand the track and push the vehicle to the absolute limit. And so I took that whole idea and put that into photography. Just swapped out cars for photography. So I as the pro photographer, used a shit camera, and then I got my girlfriend to use a like a
Proper song.
yeah. And then,
It's fascinating. I've watched quite a few videos of that in like the videography space as well, where they'll get a pro and give them something that's, not too expensive or something
or an
like
iPhone or something like that. Yeah.
And then they get them to make like a short ad for the same thing.
Yeah.
And, they're professionals. They come out and just fucking...
Because it's the thought process.
The gear out of the water.
Yeah. A lot of the way. It's the creative process. And that's what takes a while to build up that muscle. It's like when you're new to any kind of space, you can't see the full picture. But when you've done it thousands of times, as soon as someone mentions, car advert, you're like, this is the steps, and it's
Rolling
already mapped
shots.
out in your head. You know, B-roll, fucking, this is what we need. This is the camera equipment. This is it's fucking like done already in your head.
yeah.
100%.
So I'm really curious because you guys have lived a life not many people have had a chance to live. You've done a lot of traveling. You've made a living through your creative arts, which is, an absolute gift. In my personal opinion, as someone who's striving in the creative field, tell us a couple of stories about some insane situations that your field of work has gotten you into, whether here in Australia or overseas. I'm sure you got plenty of them.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to like Dubai.
Yeah, Dubai.
And like, I'm not gonna name drop anyone, but like this was interesting because you get to meet obviously some interesting people
100%.
through like, you want someone like people will come to you because like obviously you can shoot content for them and make them look good and stuff like that. So they'll come to you and be like, look, I want to do all this yada yada, and I want you to be a part of it, right? And sometimes you get people saying like, I'll fly you here and I'll post you up here or whatever. So we got this guy that reached out to us, and I'd known him through a friend, and I was pretty much mates with him, I would say. Like, he gave us a lot of advice, but this particular person was like very bipolar, which is what I've been told, but I'd never really experienced that, right? And he was like, look, I want to take you guys over to Dubai. Like, we'll get this like hectic like apartment or whatever, and we'll just like shoot content of me. Because like he was like an entrepreneur, kind of download my ebook, like look at me with my Lambo. And he's like, I was gonna rent a G-Wagon and like sit on top of it and stand it and drive around Dubai. And we like, it's like the place you go to Dubai to flex, or whatever. Like a drink's like $60 there and stuff. Like unless you got money, don't go to Dubai. It's like a playground for rich people basically. That's what the whole place is. Like the city's built because of oil.
Yeah, legit.
You know what I mean?
And then next minute there's like kind of like the slums, just right next to these fucking grand hotels.
Yeah, it's fucked. Like it's like it's insane. So when we went there, basically we picked up like this G-Wagon and stuff, and we're driving around the desert and like getting all these cool shots and stuff like that. And we had our other friend there, Hayden or whatever, and at the time the G-Wagon was like his dream car or whatever, but he didn't know that we were like picking it up or anything like that. So we like blindfolded him and took him downstairs, and we were like, oh, we're gonna like surprise him, we're filming him and everything, we're gonna show him the G-Wagon. And we get downstairs and like the guy that we were with or whatever, let's just call him Eric. Right, this
nice to meet you, Eric.
Yeah, Eric. You're listening or whatever, get fucked. No, I'm kidding. No, not kidding. No. Yeah, we're like, Eric comes down and he follows us or whatever with us, and we're like about to like we take off Hayden's blindfold. We're like, look what we got for you, like for the trip. We're gonna like drive this car around. And he's like, oh my god, and he's like reacting. It's like fully natural. It's awesome. I see that he's happy. Then Eric steps in. And he's like, guys, isn't this supposed to be about me? And I'm like. And just killed. It's like halfway through our trip, like killed the vibe.
Just went silent.
Yeah. We're filming. I have the footage of this. I haven't posted because it's like it's so awkward and shit, and it's just gonna make him look worse. And like I'm not gonna post it anywhere.
No.
But I'll tell the story.
But
like, oh, dude, it was just like the most awkward thing ever that you could possibly imagine. Like we're just standing in this fucking car park now. All sort of looking at each other. This dude wants it to be about him. It's clearly just for this part of this video about Hayden. Yeah. And he just got so jealous, and that whole trip just turned to shit after that. Yeah. So like everything that we
saw his true colors straight up.
Yeah, legit. And
I guess that was our first ever trip that we'd done based off like, I guess like doing our own thing like that.
Yeah.
Did we quit our jobs before?
We
that?
quit our jobs and then went to Dubai.
Yeah, so that was like our first sort of taste of like traveling
Within
for
the week.
content.
Yeah.
But yeah, in saying that, it ended pretty funnily like that. But I mean, yeah, you sort of get used to traveling a lot, I guess, because you know, in 2019 we were traveling heaps and stuff.
Everything repeated becomes mundane.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Like,
Yeah, you just get
I mean,
sort of
it's
used to it.
awesome.
Like, it's
and
awesome
like,
though, yeah.
like now because of COVID, we haven't been able to travel. We're like keen to travel.
Yeah.
But like,
You appreciate it again.
yeah, 100%.
So have you had a chance to kind of explore more of Australia now that you've been stuck here?
Yeah, well, that's why we're up here, like in Gold Coast, because we're from Melbourne. So we were like, we may as well try travel somewhere that, because you know we've been in Melbourne our whole lives. Like as a creator, you want to explore new things, and like personally, what gets me inspired is like being in a new environment. So like even though it's only a 2-hour flight from where I live, just the fact that we're up here, everything's new, different weather, different people. Like that is where I get my inspiration. So like being able to travel a lot is awesome.
When you're in a new environment, your brain is quite literally making new pathways. So you're increasing your brain matter when you're exploring new environments. And that's why travel is so important, you know? And people don't understand, like, when they look at the world in a matter-of-fact way. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to go to the Gold Coast. You know, I jump on a plane. I go, oh, like, there's the Q1, blah, blah. But they don't realize what's going on inside their own brain. You know, it's like, okay, I'm experiencing this for the first time. That's creating a new section of your brain.
Yeah.
You know, that is a whole new connection. And then now there's more matter for your creativity to flow through.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
pretty
I never thought
hectic.
of it that way.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Travel is so vital. And look, all the ancient civilizations, you know, they used to travel and explore the areas around them. They'd always have their home base, but they used to explore and find new things around them. Number one, for food, survival, all that kind of stuff. But also is because it expands the human consciousness.
Yeah, I agree. Like, before, like, I feel like whenever I travel, I come back home to Australia and specifically in Melbourne, and you just have a new appreciation for it, because you're like there are like awesome things about like other countries and stuff. Like Japan looks sick and everything, but like their work culture is fucked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in Australia, we're pretty like, we got it really good here. And
We're
like
spoiled as fuck.
You know what I mean? Like you go to Thailand
yeah.
and everything, you're like, oh, everything's cheap. But then like you see how people are living and you're like, fuck, like I'm so lucky that I have all the things that I do in Melbourne. You know
Gives
what I
you a
mean?
lot of perspective, eh?
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, you get a bit of culture shock when you travel.
Yeah. Which just helps you appreciate things, and then in turn you like enjoy your life
Yeah.
a lot more.
Or even just like I had this thought to myself the other day, and I don't even know why this popped in my head. I was driving the car, right? And I was just like, imagine if I had an accident right now. I completely fucking totaled myself. I need full body surgery. If I was in America, that would bankrupt me for generations. But here in Australia, it's like, yeah, the government steps in, it'll take care of you, you know? Like, that is such a blessing that I overlook every single day.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Same here. Because it's given to you as well. You know, like, you didn't have to come to Australia. You didn't come here like my parents came here on a fucking boat, or my dad did. Like, and then, or like other people I know, like I used to work with this guy who was from Mexico. He had to like 9 years until he got his citizenship and stuff like that. Like, because you don't have to go through that stuff. It's part of your life. You know,
it's expected, 100%.
That's the norm. And like when I was working at the car dealership, I used to meet a lot of kids that were like, imagine like there's like money out there that you just fucking can't imagine, bro. Like,
it's wild.
it is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And after like not even hearing some of the stories, like working at this dealership, but like seeing some of these people and like how they would go about doing their things or whatever, and like some of the cars they would own or whatever. But I'll get into that. But basically there was these kids that would come in, they're like trust fund kids, like 18, 19 or whatever, and were like looking to get like their first supercar and stuff, which is basically their first car.
Yeah.
And they would just come in, but it was all like you'd see them every couple of months, trade it in, lose 200 grand on the car because it depreciated in value, get a new car, drive it, scrape the fuck out of the front lip, bring it back, lose 200 grand, get a new car. Like, just go through cars like it's nothing, because I just don't care.
Yeah.
Because like when it's not your money, you don't work from it, that becomes your norm.
Yeah.
You need to have shit things in your life to appreciate good times as well. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like
yeah.
and like that's why the standard is set so high for these rich kids, And I almost feel sorry for them because like they have everything in the world they could ever want except for real friends.
Yeah.
Because everyone that gets close to them just ends up using them for their money.
Yeah.
And I saw that. Like they would come in, they would get their cars, whatever, and they would be sort of like, nothing wrong with being a bit socially awkward. We've all been there, but it's like you could just tell that these kids have just got a lot of trust issues because people that they've let in close to their life already have just completely used them for their money, and it makes it hard for them to interact with people and be sort of normal, you know?
I used to work at a retail store in Pacific Fair, and I watched this group of kids come in, and they had one like young Chinese guy who was obviously like on exchange or something, but was pretty obviously cashed up as well.
Yeah.
And he was with this group of like older, I don't know where they were from, like Australian guys, and I just watched them pressure this kid into like buying them all shit in this store. And I only saw them for the half an hour they were in there, but you could see that they were using that whole like, oh, you're part of our group, but
that's the price you pay.
Deciphering you for your money.
Yeah, literally.
Horrible.
And it was coming through in the sense of like they were buying clothes for this kid, like, oh, look, let's go to this store and we'll get you fitted out. And then they're like adding shit on there that's like their sizes and stuff. And this kid like barely speaks English, and he's just like pulls out the card at the end. He's like, "Yeah, right."
Yeah, there was. We used to deal with like a lot of, because we had a few Chinese people that would sell cars through like WeChat and stuff like that. And this like girl came in, and her budget per day that her dad had set her was $200,000 a day. That was like her daily spend budget.
A fucking day.
A fucking day. That was her spend budget. That's why like there's money out there that you can't even comprehend. Like, you know, when you hear like universe stats, like that's like money stats, like for these guys, like it's just an infinite number in their bank account. And even when it gets to the end, it's just got like a plus or like dot.
You got to fucking zoom in so you can see the whole number.
Like, one of my mates, Jesse, showed me a screenshot of this kid that he knew. His parents own what's it called? The service station here, Caltex.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure like his parents own that. They passed away, both of them, tragically. I'm pretty sure it's Caltex, and the kid got all the inheritance. And Jesse showed me a screenshot of his bank account. It's like $2.7 billion in this like bank account. It's like 2.7 billion, like with a B, motherfucker.
Like a capital fucking B.
Yeah, like that is just unheard of money. And then also we used to deal with this guy. Not this guy. Fuck, he's probably gonna get me killed for that. If he is. The Sultan of Brunei, like literal royalty, like fucking of Brunei, right? He's got like a collection of like 4,000 or 5,000 cars, and he would deal with our dealership, and we would get like 1 of 10 type of cars. We would get Ferrari F40s in with literally 100 kilometers on them, like 100, with all the plastic from Ferrari from 1980, like still on there and stuff like that. And like just the craziest shit. And as like a gift to my boss, who was also like multi-millionaire, probably billionaire by now, as like a gift for doing good business, would get like a couple of $100,000 watches. Just for like, good business. Yeah. Like, good business. Here. Like, imagine after this podcast, like, I just give you a fucking Rolex.
That's kind of what I was expecting. You're going to say you didn't?
Sorry, boys. We only have 2 Ferraris outside.
Oh, fucking twist my arm. Right. Make sure you bring the watches next time.
Yeah, we will.
Mad. All right, so we're going to go back to our second interlude. And I know, bro. Time is flying, man. I'm really, really enjoying this. You guys are crushing it, by the way.
Thank you.
So, give us a couple. We'll see you in a second.
Done. That's a bit fast. All right. Let's go. I met this guy. He told me that I couldn't. I told him that I would. I told him that I wouldn't. I'm not here. I'm just sipping on my beer. I'll be speaking on this mic all day. I got no fear in my head. I ain't on no meds. I don't know where I'm going.
Sick, dude. Not gonna lie, that was fucking good, dude.
Thank you. I was just fucking. Yeah.
It's almost got an aneurysm trying to do this.
My brain's like.
Word.
100%. If you've never tried to do what you just did, you have no idea how hard that is.
Yeah,
I hear Liam practicing.
Me and my mates.
Fear, meds.
In the mirror every morning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every morning.
Waiting for
3
this
hours.
podcast. I knew this was going to happen.
It's my
3
moment.
years
Manifested
ago.
it.
Yeah, this is what I manifested. This. Me sitting here with this mic covering my face.
Dude, we done 3 podcasts in 3 days. And one at the show yesterday. That was fucking wild.
Proper.
Hectic.
It just doesn't stop.
Gotta cry.
Friday was like what, nearly 2 hours?
Yeah, that was a big one on Friday.
But hey, you guys just got lucky, you know?
Yeah, you got lucky.
Well, I'm gonna bring it back and open the floor to our booth people here with us.
The booth
This
people.
Yo.
I like that. I think I'm gonna coin that, the booth people.
Yep.
Hello, everyone.
Why don't you give us a name? You know, your biggest goals in life. Putting you on the spot.
All right. Yeah, finish my Bronco. I'm Bailey Lund. I want my parts
Is your
from
name
America
Bronco
all
or
right,
is
so,
the dream? Sorry, go
You're
on.
up, Cyrus.
What's up? It's Cyrus. My biggest goal is to wake up tomorrow.
Hey, that's good.
Dude,
One more.
smashing
Come on.
goals.
You're up.
You're
We got
up.
One more in the building.
All right, hello, it's Zoe here.
What's up, Zoe?
Oh, what's my biggest goal? I don't know, just to live a life I'm happy with, I think.
That's
yeah.
nice.
That's
Very
beautiful.
humble.
Yeah, very humble, wholesome kind of thing. Yeah.
Lovely.
Perfect.
Smash it.
Well, at least your name's not Finish My Bronco.
Could always be worse, Zoe.
Yeah.
You could always be me.
Shit. It's all up from here.
Yeah.
Mad.
Well, so I think you guys kind of did give a little bit of an answer to this earlier with some of the when we were talking about how we're learning on the job essentially.
Sorry.
No, you're
Finish my Bronco.
Legit. I'm still marinating on that one too, bro.
Say your name and you go, Finish My Bronco.
Sorry, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Segue.
Yeah.
We're mature. We're
You're
all
like
mature.
a teacher. You're like, I'll just wait.
Hands on heads, please.
Sorry. Okay, we'll bring it back.
No, I was just saying that we kind of did touch on it a little bit earlier when you were saying that, we're learning on the job. You don't know when you wake up, you're not exactly sure what you're doing. You're kind of figuring out as you go still. So you may have already kind of answered it, but I want to dive back in so you can give us a little bit more light on when you started heading down this path. Where did you think you were going to end up, and where does that look like compared to where you guys are?
I think like with photography, so like that just started as like a hobby and whatnot, and then like Mike and I met each other. We kept taking photos together, and then about 3 years ago we decided to do YouTube. And I think when we started YouTube, we were like, I want to be able to like get paid like in our sleep, like when we don't have to physically work. And like, we work 5 hours, we make this much. We work 6 hours, we make this much. Like we want passive income.
Yep.
And we want to be paid to travel.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
since that was just what we wanted. There wasn't any specific like how much money or whatnot or where we want to be. It was just get paid to travel and like do what we love. And yeah, we've reached that, which is good. But
Because I think I remember that because like, you saying that just like sparked it in my mind because I was gonna say I don't really remember why I got into YouTube. Like I know I watched when I was starting out with photography and I was watching like tutorials on how to do something. I would sit there and I'm like, I'm so bored like listening to this guy trying to explain something. I'm like, dude, at least just fucking crack a joke. Like, just something like
Change the tone of your voice a
it's
little
like,
bit.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're gonna be talking about.
that's what I hate that. I hate that. It pisses me off when they're like, the title is like how to blend this and whatever, and then they sit there for 2 minutes saying what they're gonna do. I know. No,
That's why I clicked on the fucking video.
That's what I'm doing here. There was this one that was really bad. I'm so close to name dropping him. But anyway,
I'm like, don't. You're like, yeah, name drop him.
do it. No, you can probably just go and search it up, honestly. But like, it was a how to split your photos for Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, it literally. I now have a tutorial on how to do this now because of this fucking guy. There's a 12-minute video on how to split your photo. Right, he goes on for 4 minutes. I shit you not, explaining what he is going to do and how good his photos look when they're split on Instagram. And I'm like, okay. now teach me how to do it. That's all I want to do. I'm like skipping past 10 seconds. He's like, yeah, and my photos on Instagram. I'm like, okay, great. And then it's like 4 minutes. And he's like, just a quick word from our sponsor.
Oh.
Just show me the fucking video.
Yeah, literally, you have not earned that, bro.
Yeah, the sponsorship.
And I'm like 6.5 minutes. This cunt's going on about fucking Squarespace and shit. I'm like, I don't care. Like,
I remember that video. Yeah, I remember that video.
And what, you did like a remake of that and was like a 60-second video?
Yeah,
90
60
seconds?
not even. I'm like, not even like, let's just get straight into it. You just do this, bang. I probably missed like 3 steps.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's pretty much the gist. Like, I don't know, that, and then that's sort of what made me want to start YouTube. I was like, if I ever get good enough to be able to teach people how to do something or like show people how I'm going to do this, I'm going to at least just like try and make it watchable. Like mix a bit of information with entertainment, like infotainment. Just like make it funny, but you still learn something at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that was why I wanted to do it.
That's our mission for this podcast too, man.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
that's great, man. Like, dude, everyone loves to have a bit of a laugh. Like,
100%.
you're not human if you can't. Like, I don't know. For me, like, 50% of the relationship with someone for me is like at least a sense of humor. Like, I had a mate in high school. We had nothing in common. He liked different types of music to me, played different types of video games. Like, was just a completely different person, but we resonated on the same level of like sense of humor. Like, we just. We were exactly the same in that
And you can
sense.
feed into each other and it's like bounced off. It doesn't.
Yeah.
They don't take it personally and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly, man. And like, I don't know. That's just like that's the way that I am. I love to be able to like crack a joke and have a laugh about things and not take it too seriously. You know what I mean? Even if it was a serious matter, I would still have to like joke about it to be able to cope with it.
Yeah.
I think I'm that kind of person.
No,
Yeah.
legit, man. Humor's the best medicine.
Yeah, legit.
Awesome. So we are getting to this segment as part of the show where we need to start wrapping it up. You guys have given us a great deal of your time. We and our audience are very, very appreciative for you sharing your knowledge and your humor. I warned you guys they were fucking funny.
Comedian.
Legit.
Too kind.
Legit. So, last kind of question before we open the floor for you to kind of plug whatever you want to. Give yourself, so based on your experience now, give yourself some advice to you starting out. Based on what you've experienced now, what advice would you give to yourself in the beginning?
Dude, like, just, you don't need to try so hard.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to, like, try and put on this particular character of who you think you need to be. Like, I didn't actually learn that. I learned that not too long ago. I watched our other mate Hayden, who'd been doing YouTube longer than us. Like, when I used to jump on the microphone and speak, I would speak 20 decibels louder like this. And I had to, I would put on something, you know what I mean? Like, the microphone will pick up your voice, bro. Like, that's what it's designed to do.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to, like, put on this character and I gotta put on my YouTube face now.
Yeah.
What the fuck's going on? Like, you don't have to be like that. You know, you can make a video or be yourself in that particular mood, and you're gonna create a particular type of thing when you're in that mood and environment that you're in. Like, you don't have to be a specific type of person that you think people want you to be. So just, you don't have to try so hard to impress others, basically. That's what I would tell myself.
I'd probably say like that, as well as like just try more random shit.
Yeah, 100%.
Every time that
Good call.
every time I've tried something that's like random or just like I might think that's like a weird idea, I don't know if it'll end up being good. I either create something fucking awesome or something, I learn from it. And then I like use that thing in another content piece that I'm making. So like just trying random shit and not being afraid to like make something shit. Because like I know I do this, even still I do this, like I'll think of an idea and I want to do it, but I'll talk myself out of it because I'm like, oh no, because there's this and this. So like just trying more random shit and just committing to something, making it, posting it, and then you learn from that. So
yeah. And when you're doing it for the love as well, it's the act of creating at the end of the day that gives you the fulfillment.
exactly.
You know?
Yeah,
Oh,
not
for
the
sure.
product, not the end product. Yeah, it's just about if you're a photographer, just going out, going to the location, taking some photos, coming home, editing them, posting them. That's it. Doesn't matter what the end result is. It's just that process of doing it all.
For me,
100%.
even to this day, like just going out and taking photos, not even trying to make a YouTube video or anything like that, is like a good escape for me. And I'm like editing photos, and I don't even have to post them anywhere. I'm just editing, and I'm just like trying new shit out. I'm like maybe trying to make a new preset, or I'm just completely trying a different editing style, even if it doesn't work out. And I'm like, I'm just in the flow state doing that, and it's like a nice escape for me as well from like whatever else, other problems and stuff that I have to, like when I'm editing or when I'm taking photos, like I'm only just doing that, which is awesome. And like I don't know. Like, I like to give the advice that, you know, you should just ride the wave. It's like, you know, life's going to take you in a whole bunch of different directions, and there's no point trying to resist, you know, because like at the end of the day, if you get taken in a certain direction and you try and resist, it's only going to make your experience shitter. So if you just accept that this may be what's happening, and I'm just going to have to go through this, like the whole COVID situation, lockdown, what everyone around the world is faced right now, no matter how frustrated you get, if you get more frustrated, it's only going to be shitter for you.
Yeah,
if you just accept that these are things and look at the positives that have come out for it, it's kind of hard to do sometimes. It's not going to work for every situation, but you can try and look at it from that perspective. It helps.
Because literally, like, if COVID never happened, you might be, you know, stuck in Dubai somewhere, and you never got the opportunity to be on fucking Before the Money. You know,
exactly.
I may have never been here. I could be dead. I'd much rather be here.
Legit, man.
Really?
Wouldn't we fucking all?
I'd rather be this is the worst
No, we're bleeping him out.
Every time I speak for this whole podcast,
he was never here.
you fucking get into
Just a big
After
blur.
Effects me out.
Well, I stepped into the role of photographer at our gig the other night, or what was it,
Fantastic.
last night.
Yeah.
And, you know, I got my full creative hat on, and man, the amount of attention you get when you got a camera in your hand, bro.
Oh, yeah.
If I didn't feel like a rock star on stage, I felt like a fucking rock star with the
Yeah.
camera in my hand. I'm feeling super motivated to go home and edit for fucking hours, man.
Yeah.
You
It's
wore
great
that
fun.
so well last night too. Like I was watching you, like fuck, this kid is up there. You're up there with the other acts who are fucking crushing it,
Yeah.
and they're like interacting with you because like, oh look at this dude up here,
Yeah.
fucking.
You have to control your environment, you know.
I was also gonna say
Yeah.
to you
Mhm.
as well. It's been really cool for me because like since Jack and I have linked up, I've watched you really take bigger. What you're saying, trying random shit, taking risks and trying new shit in the photography space. And like you should see some of these shots that Jack took at a gig that we were at last weekend. Like the band that you took those shots for, they're all over their socials.
Yeah, they
like
lost
they
that
would have
shit,
paid you for those shots 100%. And it's just from again like trying new shit, and then you
The
it
love of
worked for you in
creating.
that moment, and you edited them beautifully. And yeah, it's just cool to watch that unfold.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
but that's how paid gigs can start, though. It's like
100%.
people, I get questions all the time, like, how do I make money from this? And like, want to go straight into making money off your art. But like, dude, at the end of the day, no one wants to pay for photography. Everyone wants to get it for free until you meet someone who does want to pay you for your craft, because they're going to understand and see your value. But the way that you do that is you build your connection base through actually doing the craft and people that you might meet. Doing those photos for that band, they might go like, dude, we need to get Jack back on. Like, we need to be able to do that again. You know what I mean?
And
Yeah,
they
well,
will,
my
100%.
thought process basically is like, I've been in a position where I wish somebody was taking photos of what I was doing. You know, like the clothing brand. Like, I wish someone took a photo of that. Like, that would be the coolest thing if someone walked up to me after I just did that cool thing and was like, bro, I got the coolest photo of that.
Yeah.
You know, and also in the position we're in right now, you know, we're up and coming in the music space, in the fashion space, and whatever other field we're touching. So I'm doing it more so as a sense to start a chain of, you know, oh, that's a fucking hard word for me to bring out. Reciprocity.
I haven't even heard that word.
So I start off by doing a nice thing for you, a kind thing. I take some photos of your gig, you know. Then you want to, hey, we're doing a gig up in Brisbane next weekend. You want to come open for us?
Yeah.
You know, it just starts that relationship of giving and giving and giving, which is what we don't see enough in this world.
Yeah.
No,
you know?
Yeah, everyone wants something from you. It's like, especially with like social media, I feel like people like don't want to work with you unless it's like they're getting something out of it.
100%.
Whereas like my best mates to this day, like it's just because I've like wanted to help them out for whatever reason without anything in return, and then you just do that.
Dude, yeah, we all
For
forget
each
that
other.
like what we do, like what our actual jobs are. Like, we've got some mates that like are in the clothing industry as well, like press garments and stuff. But when I'm with them, and then when they're with us, like, we don't think about like, oh, this guy's a YouTuber and this guy like does that and he owns this business and whatever. Like, just hanging out with your mates, which is awesome,
100%.
and like helping each other. But what you said, that
Reciprocity.
system,
Respiratory system.
Reproductive system.
fallopian tube, whatever.
Yeah, we'll fucking run with that, man.
Whatever word that you just said. The
Yeah, it's a tongue
problem,
twister.
the problem that faces with that is that like when you do something nice for someone, but you expect them to do something nice for you back, that's where it can start a bit of bad blood.
Yeah.
Because like when you try and do something and you're like, I'm going to take photos of this person, and then you expect them to do something. I know I'm not singling you out or anything.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that people do this.
Yeah, of course.
And go like, oh, bring it back to when they did something super small.
You
like they
owe
gave you a
me.
discount
Yeah,
code or
yeah.
whatever. That's the worst shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's when it plays into whole like expectations and all this
Yeah.
other stuff. Like, if you just let go of expectations and you do things because you want to do them, it feels good. To do
Yeah,
that.
it's
Like, it feels good
100%,
to be
yeah.
a good person, and it's easy.
Yeah.
It's harder to be a shit person. Like, when you're trying to plan out and have a second agenda.
You have to
and
go
all this
out
shit.
of your fucking way.
Like, to be
yeah.
a shitty person.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, you got to dodge shitty people sometimes as well. And you have to experience getting fucked over, which me and Liam have definitely had our fair share
I'm sure.
of being fucked around. You have to really go through those moments, otherwise you're never going to know what that's like. And then you need to be able to rebuild from that.
Yeah. Wow.
100%.
Yeah.
That was a very, very strong way for us to kind of segue into, the floor is yours. Plug whatever you want now. Like,
That's the only reason I'm here to put this
legit.
part right
Yeah,
now.
I can see you just been sitting there like, fuck, when does this end?
Come on.
Get the plug.
Need a plug. Plug my TikTok. No, I'm joking.
Fuck that. Delete the app.
yeah, that's how I'm gonna plug TikTok. That's what I want to plug. Delete fucking TikTok unless you're using it for content.
Yeah, 100%.
No, I don't
Well,
know.
shout out to mum and dad for conceiving me.
I don't know,
Appreciate
well,
it.
I guess if you want to like look at our work, mine's 7th Era. Mike's is North Borders on all platforms, but
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah,
pretty much
that's about
it.
it.
I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah,
Like,
So-
it's been
honestly,
good
shout
to
out to
meet you
Before the
guys.
Money.
Yeah,
For the money, baby.
Yeah.
For the money, baby.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having us on, and
Moolah.
also
No.
your time and bringing us into your space. Thank you, Scott, bringing us, sitting there and having to listen to all this shit.
Absolute fucking dribble. No, thank you for the booth people
Thank
for
you.
tuning
both
in.
people.
You seriously do make this time a lot more worthwhile. When there's a live audience, you feel like you got to put on a bit of a show.
Yeah, pressure's on, baby.
No, this has been an awesome episode. It's been a fucking dream hanging out with you guys. I hope you enjoy the rest of your trip. I know you're taking off very shortly, so I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you guys reach everything you're striving for.
You
Thanks,
too,
man.
boys.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
Thanks,
you too,
thanks for
boys.
coming out, guys.
No worries at
Very,
all.
very
Good
cool
shit.
to talk with you guys and
Yeah, of course.
touch different perspectives. And yeah, you guys have got a lot to offer someone like myself, where always open to learn,
no
and
problem,
you guys are just radiating information. So
Yeah.
Oh, it's been
thanks
good
for
to
coming
speak
out.
to you boys as well. You're very talented in your own ways as well, which is awesome, and
Appreciate it.
hope the best for you guys as well.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Shit.
You've been tuning into Before the Fucking Money. I hope you enjoyed it. If you are interested, if you really enjoyed this website, this fucking podcast, whatever the fuck it's called, please, and you want to see our beautiful faces in the flesh in full HD on 3 different camera angles, might I add, I'm not looking forward to editing this, but head to Anarchy TV, watch it in full HD on YouTube, and you can see these beautiful guys for yourself with your own eyes. This has been Before the Money. Really appreciate it. Love you guys. Peace.
Later, Bo.
AnarchyLabel.com. Get your fucking steez on.
Download my fucking preset.
That's the real plug one.
Yeah, that was a real plug. Save it for the end, the true fans.
Let's
Fuck
fucking
yeah,
go.
boys. Let's go. Good shit, man.